At this time, we'd like to have some discussion. Mr. Merck unfortunately could not be here with us this evening. I believe he's in Istanbul on business, but he had a letter that he asked our clerk to read on his behalf, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Carlson if you'll read that letter for us, please.
Mr. Mayor and honorable colleagues, thank you for extending me the courtesy of a moment to comment on the proposed course of action with respect to the regional high school district issue. One of my goals over the past 6 months as an elected official has been to spend more time listening to resident opinions on this topic than talking about opinions of my own, because I believe it is every township committee member's duty to thoughtfully consider the desires of township residents before formulating policy or plans of action. With respect to the township's future direction on the issue of the regional high school district, it seems to me wholly appropriate for the township committee to conduct a meeting to inform the public as to the current situation, as well as what range of options may be open to the township. This will promote open and transparent government and will be superior, in my judgment, to private meetings of mayors that deny members of the public a chance to witness the discussions or conclusions. Further, a public meeting will afford residents an opportunity to weigh in on an issue vital to the township's future. It will help ensure that township residents and township committee members are on the same page when it comes to choosing a future course of action relating to the high school district. It is already clear to me that many Mendham Township residents are dissatisfied with what they see as an inequitable formula for funding the regional high school district. The question, therefore, is what action they want the Township Committee to take in response to the current situation. I see no better way to gain an understanding of their views than to conduct an open forum that discusses all of the Township's options and solicits their input. I would certainly be pleased to see all the constituent communities in the regional high school district come together to craft a new funding formula that fairly addresses existing funding inequities. Given the current statutory framework imposed by the state, however, it appears to me unlikely that such a common effort, however desirable, will be successful. Accordingly, Mendham Township must look to its own interests and range of available options to consider. An open public meeting, such as the mayor has suggested, seems to be a reasonable and rational first step in determining just how Mendham Township should approach the regional high school district funding question.
Thank you, Mrs. Carlson. Following up on Mr. Merck's comments, I believe that educationally and financially it is time for Mendham Township to investigate possible alternatives to the current structure of the West Morris Regional School District. The efforts of the Township Committee should consider a partnership with the local boards of education and hopefully in concert with our similarly affected neighbors, Mendham Borough and the Chesters. Further, and in my opinion, if there are feasible options which would benefit Mendham Township, I personally believe the Township Committee should work not, and I repeat, work not to dissolve the West Morris Regional School District, but we all should work in unison to get the state to authorize a referendum on the issue so that the voters in the 5 constituent towns can decide on how to spend their tax dollars and educate their children. A committee consisting of myself, Rick Merck, Russ McCabe, and Peter Dumovic are working to formulate and deliver an action plan for our constituents. I would like to thank them for volunteering and assisting. We hope to add more members to this committee as we progress. The action plan on educating our constituents will begin with a series of public forums featuring knowledgeable and experienced professionals in the area of school funding and education, designed to fully explore feasible alternatives. The first such forum will be held from 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Wednesday, November 2nd, in the auditorium of the Mendham Township Elementary School. I've asked TAG if they will consider filming the event for viewing on Mendham TV. Vito A. Gagliardi, Jr., a principal in the law firm of Porzio, Bromberg, and Newman, will be our guest speaker. Mr. Gagliardi is considered one of New Jersey's renowned specialists in the area of education law. His prior speaking engagements include school law for non-school lawyers, school law forum, governance and education, consolidation of New Jersey public school districts, deregionalization and consolidation, and regional school district funding problems and solutions. Mr. Gagliardi is a graduate of the University of Notre Dame and received his JD from Washington and Lee University cum laude in 1989. Mr. Gagliardi resides with his wife and 2 children in Mountainside, New Jersey. The facilitator for this meeting will be Paul Boudreau, President of the Morris County Chamber of Commerce. Paul was selected for his breadth of knowledge and experience as a government and corporate affairs executive, most recently as Vice President of State and Corporate Relations for Honeywell. He has lobbied on business issues in 25 states and has expertise in state and local government relations, crisis and strategic communications, and community outreach. Mr. Boudreau, while at Honeywell, served as the Executive Director of Honeywell Hometown Solutions, the company's award-winning corporate citizenship program. In this capacity, he led the creation of national partnerships with various community groups in the areas of housing and shelter, family safety and security, and science and math education. These partnerships and programs have gone on to win 25 industry and marketing awards. Mr. Boudreau holds a bachelor's degree from the University of New Hampshire and a master's degree in public administration from the University of Maine. Paul served 2 terms in the Maine House of Representatives. Mr. Boudreau resides with his wife in Basking Ridge, and I would like to thank him for volunteering to take on this assignment. And at this time, I'll open it up to my colleagues for any discussion or comments.
I think, Mayor, as I've said to you directly, I think this is a good idea. I think an informed public is very important. There's a lot of things we can do, and there's a lot of things we can't do. I heard Mr. Gagliardi's presentation about 5 years ago, and according to the knowledge I have, the law hasn't changed since then. But I think a lot of people have changed in our town in these 5 years. And I think it's very, very important for the public to be aware of what our options are, and I think he can spell them out to us very clearly, and I thank you for saying that.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
I also think it's an excellent idea, Frank. One of the sad things about the Mendhams and the Chesters and Washington Township has been the unfortunate level of controversy, negative comments, and harsh rhetoric. And certainly that's not new to schools, but it's unnecessary, it's not helpful, and we're never going to achieve anything. So I certainly support having an open process of information that's done in an appropriate fashion that allows people to discuss the issue rationally and intelligently without raising their tenor of voice or harsh rhetoric. It is critical. If we're going to do anything, we're going to do it because we work together. When you challenge others and attack them, the ability to work with them becomes impossible. And so we need to turn the corner on the past and figure out how we're going to achieve this in the future. At the same time, it's a very tough road to hoe, and I do think we need to be careful about the amount of money that's spent in this process, and we're careful that we just don't push a lot of money out the door thinking we're going to accomplish nothing and get nothing back from it. So I think each step along the way, we need to be careful and reevaluate the process and make sure it's something that people want. And that's why I support having the people involved. Because a few individuals in private meetings are not going to solve the problems of the school system. Certainly they'll learn a lot, and that can be helpful. But the public being engaged in the process is the way it's going to, if we're ever going to achieve anything. You need the public engagement. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I hope everybody marks their calendar Wednesday, November 2nd at the Mendham Township Elementary School Auditorium.
What time is that again?
7:30 to 9:30. We have asked the moderator to keep to a strict timetable. We're hoping for a 1-hour presentation and a 1-hour question and answer period. We know your time is valuable. At this point, I'd like to move on to discuss the dump trailer purchase. Mr. Mountain, you want to give us a little more information, please?
Yes, in our capital budget this year, we have funding available for the purchase of a dump trailer. The original hope was we might be able to find a used trailer, which we did. Unfortunately, bidding laws being what they are, it's very difficult to spec the trailer that is at the price that you would like to purchase it. So back to the drawing board, put together a bid specification targeted for a new dump trailer that we hope to come in during the price range later. So it's in the capital budget. The capital budget had a price of $34,000. The bid came in at $39,000. What was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting was a concept that was agreed at the Public Works Committee should be brought back to the full committee, and that is we have monies available in a remaining grant for clean communities that we have utilized in the past for vehicles that are utilized in the cleaning of the community, whether it be for grass cutting, branch removal. This vehicle would be used in both, so it is eligible. And really the question that we're bringing to the full committee tonight is, would you endorse the concept of using those grant monies, which are available for this purpose, to supplement the $34,000 that are in the capital ordinance? And if so, we'll go ahead and work out the mechanics within the finance office